Welcome back to Minehead. This is Red's Bar, board number 2, and it is the 2023 Players' Championship Finals. And this has got a heavyweight feel about it because you've got the ever-present World Cup winner, that is Simon Whitlock, and you've got Luke Woodhouse, who has made a final in a Players' Championship this year. And as to who's the favourite for this game, be my guest in taking a guess. Because this is a 50-50 game. Will it go to the more experienced player, or will it go to the person who's in better form, which is definitely Woody? Murph is still with me for this one. What's your take?
Well, I feel like Luke Woodhouse is a player that's turned a corner. Probably began to do that when he reached that final in Hildesheim earlier this year, and then that fantastic run on the Euro Tour that forced him in to the World Grand Prix, a tournament, of course, in which Simon Whitlock in his heyday reached the final. But Simon Whitlock's heyday seems quite a few years behind him at the moment, and I think he is trying not to just turn a corner in the same way that Woodhouse has, but actually produce a full U-turn and stop a slide and start climbing back up the rankings. But he's done it before.
In Aussie terms, he wants to do a hook turn, which is something you don't find you need to do in Europe. But it's a very peculiar move, but
96.
From previous experience, we just don't back against Simon because he has had the ability to turn things around. But now that he is sliding down the rankings
41.
and is now projected to be somewhere in the mid-40s by the end of the World Championship, he's got to get a bit of a move on.
By the way, full marks to the man you may have seen on Simon's walk on there that had clad himself out in full Whitlock attire, the dreadlocked ponytail included.
That mimicry will have taken years to mature. That guy is the equivalent of Parmigiano Reggiano staying in the warehouse and saying, right, I'm fully ready now. It's Minehead 2023, and I'm going to see Simon on the walk-on. Perfectly timed, by the way.
Well, it's a good job we did enough to qualify, isn't it?
30.
What a waste that would have been.
Well, it's a good job he didn't come as Peter Wright then. Or Nathan Aspinall.
Yeah, no Wright or Aspinall in this tournament. Didn't do enough, or didn't play enough. Might be a better way of phrasing it in terms of the floor events this year. By the way, just an update on what happened on the main stage. It was a 6-2 success for Ross Smith, the former European champion, beating Scott Williams by 4 legs and averaging 98.23. Had a 130 checkout and 3 maximums in that match. And if you did miss the opening match here on stage 2, well, Radek Żagański recorded the same scoreline
100
against Ian White, the diamond having a rough time at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty quiet journey back to Stoke-on-Trent for Ian White, that's for sure. Roughly 3 hours to get here for Simon. Is living in Hampshire, as he has been for the past decade. Woody, just a little bit less than that, coming from Bewdley in the West Midlands. And he's looking for his cherished double 18.
95. Simon, you require 87.
Whitlock may well start on the 17s himself. That is the approved route on 87. Now upstairs for 20s. And he gets the bonus of the outer ring, double 5.
82. Luke, you require 18.
The age-old question. Split or go? And it's going to be split this time. Had some trouble on double 8 in the previous game for Żagański to get the job done.
Simon,
he would eventually hit it. But Woody has not hit that. Meaning Simon comes back for double 2 and takes the lead with a break of throw. We've already said that today.
Second leg, it's Simon.
First blood to the wizard.
Game on.
Who does have the benefit of having won their only encounter in 2023. It did go the distance, 6-5 in a European Tour qualifier. Woodhouse, though, actually does edge the head-to-head record overall. Before that, he'd beaten Simon Whitlock in 4 successive meetings.
That's not a bad thing to draw on when you're about to play Simon in a big stage game like this.
58.
And awaiting the winner of this one. Either the 13th seed and Grand Slam of darts finalists, Rob Cross or Cameron Menzies,
62.
who somewhat comfortably made the field in spot number 52. But they are not thinking about that possible game right here, because it's so close in the form, you would say, and maybe Woodhouse shading it. But this is the kind of game that you can get really focused for.
Doesn't have an amazing record in this tournament,
71.
Simon Whitlock. We were just crunching the numbers historically before, and we found 3 quarterfinals. One of those converted into a semi-final, but none since the year of 2015. 8 years without making it to the final session.
58.
He has made the semi-finals before, the very first running of this tournament at Minehead. He lost to Phil Taylor in the semi-finals, and eventually Phil would win the title over Kim Huybrechts.
Well, that's the first on stage 2 today, and Simon Whitlock provides it.
This is a special place for Luke Woodhouse. Just cast your mind back 4 years
58.
when he
Simon
was
required
beating the defending
48.
champion, Daryl Gurney. And that really did put Woodhouse on the map.
It's a lovely guide for Whitlock. You could actually use that to deflect into the double 8.
32.
He's a guy who does those kind of tricks, isn't he, the wizard? He will try and use his darts.
Don't underestimate what he's done as far as a change is concerned as well.
57.
He's got
Simon, you require
a
60.
new style dart here. They are that lovely golden colour that he really likes. Matches his chain.
14.
And the little golden nugget he's got around his neck. But he's using shorter stems today.
All a bit rushed from Simon Whitlock, and he's thinking, why did I not just bust it after missing the first couple, or start again? Didn't need to leave myself in the
97.
madhouse.
Simon, you require 2.
Woodhouse may be the beneficiary. Double 1. Oh, that is glorious. Can't miss. Oh, he's
No
missed.
score.
You set him up for failure there, Murph.
Luke, you require 100.
I'm surprised he didn't step to the right or left to try and create the angle, because that's something he usually does. You were talking about the way he bumps the darts in. I don't know why I'm about to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. But Whitlock looks rusty to me. Almost stage rusty.
52.
Because he hasn't played on a big
Simon,
stage
you
for a while.
require 2.
Good point. Good
Game's
dart.
gone the second
2-0 to
round.
Simon Whitlock.
Simon
it was a
Whitlock.
bit more dramatic than it
Third leg,
needed to
swings
be
the throw first.
for the
Game on.
Australian, but he does double his lead. And if he can shake off the cobwebs, then he could yet be a danger in this tournament.
I know there's been a lot of chatter recently on social media about
120.
the top 10 players of all time and things like that, but if I may divert for one moment, is Simon the best Australian player ever?
Well, I'm sitting
134.
far enough away from you, Paul, to...
I'm not even in the conversation. Answer the question.
I think he is, yeah. I think you'd have to... it's a strange one because, of course, we do have an Australian world champion, but I think for impact and for
177.
sustained premiership in the sport, then, yeah, I think Simon Whitlock would be top of my list.
Good answer.
Good visit, wasn't it, from Luke Woodhouse as well.
140.
The 177, just to remind Whitlock that he's not going to have this easy.
I think Simon is very, very aware of the threat that is Luke Woodhouse. He's
137.
incredibly consistent this year. If you think about what he's averaged in Players' Championships this season compared to his seasonal average, which includes majors,
81.
qualifiers, European
Luke, you
tours,
require
there's less than
67.
half a point between them, which means he is operating at a 93 average level all year.
Game shown the
And he has got his
third leg.
first leg there,
Luke Woodhouse.
which improved from Woody.
Fourth leg, it's Simon to throw first.
Yeah, superb stuff from Luke Woodhouse. Just looking at the Simon Whitlock
59.
Roll of Honour this year, and you're right, Paul, the last time he played at a televised tournament would have been the World Series finals,
83.
and that is more than 2 months ago now.
And then the World Cup before that.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been a great deal of stage exposure this year. And if you think
And
that doesn't matter
93.
because he's got all of the experience from previous years, think about what happened to Ian White in the first game. He had a lot of experience compared to Radek, and he lost.
And he was only on stage in Amsterdam for
81.
7 legs. Lost 6-1 to Keegan Brown.
Yeah, that doesn't take long, 7 legs. That's 20 minutes. That's why you've got the likes of Price and
81.
Humphreys and Cross and Wright. They're doing well because they're constantly under the pressure of the lights and they're very much in tune with it.
Over on the main stage right now, Ryan Searle up against Boris Kritschmar. Searle, a former finalist in this tournament, averaging 100, but trailing 2-1.
Defending a lot of ranking money as well. Peter Wright has lost 6 figures in ranking money in the world rankings
92.
by the end of this weekend. Ryan Searle will be defending his biggest ever check, so he must make the final again to cover the spread.
Yeah, it's another Luke that all the hoo-ha's about at the moment. The man amassing 6 figures left, right and
96.
centre on his ranking money. Humphreys, do you think he could make it a hat-trick of TV titles this weekend?
He could, but I wouldn't be surprised if this one has just come a little too soon. We have seen in the past Price win
46.
multiple Grand Slams,
Luke, you
but he has
require
never won this
102.
tournament straight after it.
Yeah, similar to the Grand Prix to the Europeans. Great dart. Although does have to move to avoid the dart
62.
at tops.
Simon, you require 130.
And failed to find it. 130 for Whitlock. 60. And still 60. Can't find it, so won't get a go at the 50.
65.
Well, let's look at Woody
Luke,
going
you
for tops
require
here.
40.
I've got a point to make about these Whitlock stems, by the way. Not even a rangefinder, that one. That one is a lovely guide.
No score.
Not good enough.
And now Simon Whitlock
65.
has got a chance here to restore a 2-leg cushion. 25 wants to avoid the bull here, and he's done that, availing him 2 darts at the target, just missed. That becomes 1 at double 10. In it goes, and away he goes.
Simon Whitlock.
A weird end to that leg there.
Fifth leg, it's Luke to throw first.
With Woodhouse having that perfect guide and the facial
Game on.
expression, one of a person who's opened the door to an advent calendar and found there's nothing behind it. But yes, these stems that Simon's using here, they're shorter than anything I've ever seen him use. Great start from Woody.
177.
But look at these things. Black with a yellow helter-skelter design. I didn't even know they made them. Still, these are really old school.
97.
But the likelihood is Simon's probably dug into his darts bag today and said, oh, I think I'll just use those. They've probably got some age, these things.
Well, just starting to get excited about Luke Woodhouse then. He's a man who we know has hit 9 darts in front of cameras before, albeit the camera was on a book on a chair in his own kitchen.
I think it was a smartphone, wasn't it? It wasn't just a camera.
Yeah, the PDC home tour. Remember those days? Woodhouse landing the perfect leg. Simon Whitlock not a stranger to perfection either.
Do you remember who he hit it against?
Was it Price?
It was Price.
140.
Yeah, Whitlock's heavily tattooed arms and some of the numbers on the roulette wheel you see, the number 9s around the elbow, are all little nods to his 9-dart finishes.
84. Luke, you require 44.
Everything on those tattoos is on purpose. Just like that 44 checkout for Luke Woodhouse.
Luke Woodhouse.
This is a very decent
Sixth
game.
leg, it's Simon to throw first.
Yep. Whitlock led 2-0 and 3-1. Woodhouse continues to just cling to his coattails.
93.
I wonder what the ambitions are of Whitlock in the next 12 months, because he would love to vault his way back up to the top 32, but he doesn't want to be caught in this mire of players between 32 and 54 in the world, because that's where he's headed at the minute if things don't go his way. Woodhouse is starting to get a bit of pep in his step here.
57.
He's got another 9 next to his name. He's starting to simmer.
Yeah, 10 9-dart finishes Simon Whitlock's had in his career. That is a remarkable tally, and
59.
his local tattooist will be running out of ink.
I wonder if he's got a favourite. Surely it's the Premier League one against Hamilton.
96.
Yeah, lovely commentary by Rod Studd and the late, great John Gwynn on that one. I remember it well because both players were on for it at one point. It precedes the madness we saw at the World Championship final last year.
In a year where we've seen the best leg we've ever seen, and then standard-wise, we've actually seen from the German Super League an even better one, where no darts were missed in the entire leg with Manfred Bildel and Nico Springer. What else is 2023 going to give us?
I'll tell you something else. One of the best legs I've ever seen was actually in the World Grand Prix when Whitlock got to the final. A leg against Alan Norris. Remember that one?
One of the best ever. Was he 15 perfect darts at the end?
Yeah, incredible. And Norris, of course, just to bring it full circle, who hit a 9-darter on this very stage in this tournament.
Very first person to do it in this tournament. Bagged a cool £35,000 for that 9-darter.
60.
Well, can Luke Woodhouse make this finish look as easy as 1, 2, 3? Treble 19 will be the first port of call, and he finds it. So the 16 segment, 66 remaining here. Did not even entertain the treble. He wants to go at the bull. And he wasn't far away.
Great tactics from Woodhouse. Almost perfect execution. Okay, 95 left. Treble 19 surely. Chance is gone, and we could have a tied game. This is for a crucial
72.
Woodhouse break of throw in this Ashes-style match.
Luke required 25.
Well, he missed 4 darts in leg 4 to level. He's missed 1 dart to level in leg 6. He's got 2 more. Big, deep breath. He knows the importance. And he nails it, and suddenly Luke Woodhouse not only draws level, but he takes the advantage because he has the darts.
Game on.
In previous times, I am 100% certain you're going to agree with me on this, but Woodhouse would be shaking his head. He'd be hovering his hand over the panic button. But not this year. Seems to have...
99.
And I hate to use the terminology that he's grown up, but I think it's better to say that in 2023 he has matured a little bit and is showing a lot more patience in games like this.
Well, your certainty was correct, Paul. I wholeheartedly concur. And I think that
58.
mature is the correct phrase as well. I think he's become darts smart. I think he understands that you play a lot of legs, a lot of games over the course of a year. And it's quite
91.
energy sapping to just display a negative demeanour. And it seems to be working, doesn't it?
60.
Digging himself out of holes that usually would have consumed him.
Yeah, very much so. And Whitlock doing Simon things here, but even on 270, he wanted to stay on that treble 20, but because it was blocked, and he sometimes has a tendency to hit his own equipment and it falls to the floor, he decided to switch and try and gamble on 2 big trebles. It did not pay off.
And he might make him pay.
180.
Maximum punishment dished out by Luke Woodhouse. And Whitlock again with that low dart blocking the bed. This is what he wanted to do last time, find a couple of treble 19s. Does it? The legs in the balance. Woodhouse though on 104.
Doesn't get much better than that. To start off and to get a chance at double 16. Wonderful from Luke. He's taken the impetus of this one. He had the advantage of throw at the start of leg 7. He's taken full advantage of it. What a game we're having here.
Yeah, that was 284 in 6 from Luke Woodhouse there as well. Really good spell. Good spell from Ryan Searle as well. He's turned it around against Critchmar. 5-3 up, an average of 101.5. He's had a 128 checkout in that. Critchmar's had a 158 checkout. Check this out.
He's starting to sound like Dale Winton there by saying check it out. Check this out.
Well, it's the 3rd leg by my count that Woodhouse has started with 3 big trebles.
Yeah, but he hasn't had 3 big trebles on visit 2 yet.
180.
He has now. I said to him a couple of years ago he needed to change his walk-on song to put a little birdhouse in your soul. Put a little 9-darter in the board, Luke, and everybody will remember you forever.
Well, he's not going to do that. Even Simon Whitlock was happy for it to go in. But now he will want to just
89.
make Woodhouse think a little bit more, almost cause a distraction here.
Yeah, lead 38. That's the plan.
140.
Not a bad leg from Whitlock at all. 12 darts thrown. 78 left. But it is in vain. That is an 11-dart leg from Luke Woodhouse to take a 5-3 lead. And I just go back to the very first Players' Championship of the year, the first event that all of these players played in to try and get here. And the first defeat of Woodhouse's season saw Luke Humphreys average the best of anybody in a Players' Championship game this year, 119.15. And even when Woodhouse lost that game, even he was smiling because he saw the numbers.
No perfect leg, but it's turning into a perfect start here for Luke Woodhouse. By the way, he's had 3 9-dart finishes in his career, all of them against major champions. Price is mentioned as he piles in another perfect visit. Danny Noppert and Richie Burnett, the other one, is most recent, just 2 months ago.
Well, considering the start of this game where Whitlock got the impetus, how impressive has this been from Woodhouse since then? 4 straight legs. And he's been so concentrated around that 60 that Whitlock has felt suffocated.
60.
You can see the reaction to a treble-less turn there from Woodhouse. He just doesn't know that feeling.
140.
Whitlock now finding himself a visit behind.
Luke, you require
And Woodhouse
140.
has 2 visits to take this out. May only need 1. Will he leave it handy? Just avoid busting it, Luke, and all will be well.
100.
All is very well. Not for Simon. All he can do is pressure.
82.
But he's been under pressure pretty much since the start of leg 5.
Double top. Double 10.
20.
Well, that one was a long way off.
Simon, you
Has
require
the wizard
160.
got something up his sleeve?
Not on this occasion.
60.
Woodhouse has got 10s, which he's just missed by an
Luke, you
inch.
require 20.
In the past, he has let games slip when he's had the lead.
$10.
Multiple match darts missed, and Whitlock is still
Simon, you
here.
require 100.
Yeah, that's half a dozen gone begging for Luke Woodhouse to cross the line. Got to be tops. It has to be 2 at double top, and there's one of them. And Luke Woodhouse thinks he knows where the next one's going. That's where 6 darts missed for the match, and then Simon Whitlock pulls off a flashy finish. 2 tops to take out the ton,
Game on.
and it's game on. He has the darts to force a decider.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of coasting towards your century at the crease. And you think all you got to do is just paddle it down the covers and get yourself a nice, easy 2. And here comes Whitlock, Glenn McGrath style, with a nice swerving ball through the air. And next thing you know, your bails are off.
I thought you were going to go Brett Lee with Simon Whitlock.
If it was Brett Lee, the middle stump would be somewhere near third man.
Yeah, you can see it now, can't you?
57.
Can he see a way back here? He's given himself an outside chance.
I wonder if there's any Luke Woodhouse lookalikes in the crowd.
As far as I can see, there's one bloke that's come dressed as Simon Whitlock, and everybody else is dressed as Luke Woodhouse.
Like that very famous AC/DC video. Who made who? Everybody was dressed as Angus Young. They're, of course, an Australian band with a little hint of Geordie.
Does give off that demeanour, doesn't he, Woodhouse? There's a certain charm in being your sort of everyday guy.
98.
I don't think he counts himself as an elite player just yet. He's very much a hard-working player who wants to go somewhere with his game. And let's face it, his game and his ranking are going somewhere.
That's a real mess from Simon Whitlock when he's on the brink of coming back into it. 2-2-1, doesn't leave a finish. Now, is he going to go for this? We won't know. But he leaves it perfectly handy, and Simon Whitlock may well pay for that sloppy visit.
If Woodhouse has a good tournament, Murph, he could even squeeze into the top 32 in the world before the World Championship draw. But his first job is to get into round 2 to play against Cross or Menzies.
Oh, Whitlock left it handy. 7 match starts missed now by Luke Woodhouse, but it won't be a tale of disaster. It's a tale of triumph for Woodhouse, who wins against Whitlock and books his place in the second round of the 2023 Players' Championship Finals. It's a match against Cross or Menzies for Woodhouse that awaits. Whitlock departs the scene. It's another difficult day in Minehead for the Wizard, but Woodhouse gets the victory and he enjoys every moment of it. He wins, he's through to round 2, and here on stage 2 coming up next, it's Ryan Joyce against Daniel Closer.